Okay, I am going to start the presentation. It's a little after 2, and we'll probably pick up a few people as we go. At the end, we'll have some time for some Q&A. So let me get this going. All right, can everybody see my presentation?
Yes.
Good, here we go.
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Ernest Summerall. You can call me Ernie. I'm a regional sales representative in the North American region for Samson Group. I'm here to talk about how SamGuard's predictive analytics platform uses AI to help you get the most out of your operations, whether it's cutting downtime or improving safety or just boosting efficiency. By the end of the session, the idea is that you guys all are going to have a clearer picture of how predictive analytics can make a measurable difference in your business, especially in your processes. So let's get started. Today's production environments are full of challenges. I mean, unexpected equipment failures, costly and unplanned maintenance, the constant pressure to improve efficiency. Traditional approaches, they don't always work the way we'd like for them to. That's where predictive insights come in. Powered by AI, they allow us to spot potential issues early and take action before they disrupt operations. In this webinar, I'm going to introduce you to SamGuard. SamGuard is our predictive analytics solution. It delivers real-time insights to boost production performance, cut down time, and lower maintenance cost. So here's what we're going to be covering today. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about why predictive maintenance and optimization are important in today's production environments or cycles. Then I'll walk through SamGuard's predictive analytics technology, just a 70,000 foot view, and the benefits it can bring to your operations. And then we're going to dive into a few real world case studies just to show how SamGuard has delivered results in different industries. And finally, I'll share some best practices for implementing predictive analytics. And we'll wrap up with a Q&A session where I'll answer any questions that you might have. So reliable equipment is the backbone of any production line, especially in industries like oil and gas, where if we miss a delivery, we might just miss the sale because they're going to drill with or without us. Mining and manufacturing. Traditionally, many companies use a reactive approach to maintenance. So if something's broken, we go and fix it. However, this leads to unplanned downtime and higher repair costs. And predictive maintenance, by contrast, identifies potential issues before they become costly failures. This approach not only saves emergency repair costs, but also keeps production running efficiently by preventing unexpected stoppages. I'll tell you that the compressor station that I was going to visit in for one of my clients in northern Canada, north of Calgary, their normal turnaround time was a number of dollars, and then if they had an unexpected downtime, it was double that. I know the number, I'm just not going to tell you. So by maximizing uptime and minimizing maintenance costs, predictive maintenance becomes a vital tool for maintaining production efficiency. SamGuard is a predictive analytics platform that keeps a continuous eye on your production assets using AI-powered monitoring. Imagine if you hired someone who never slept, never complained about the coffee, never complained about vacation days or holidays, and could not just see the whoopee lights in the control room, but also understood all of the tags or the sensors behind those whoopee lights, thousands of them. So our AI-powered monitoring system collects real-time data from systems like SCADA, IoT sensors, and historical records to figure out what normal equipment behavior looks like. Then we used machine learning. By using the machine learning, it identifies patterns and flags anything unusual that could point to a potential failure. We build things we call normality clusters. So we know what the processes look like when operating normally. And if something happens outside of these clusters, then it sends an alert. So when it spots an issue, SamGuard sends out a real-time alert so operators can step in before things get worse. Its intuitive dashboards give teams both quick insights and detailed analytics, making it easier to stay ahead of problems and keep production running smoothly, which is the name of the game. SamGuard's predictive analytics bring a lot of value to production lines. First, it helps you keep your equipment keeps your equipment running by catching potential breakdowns early. That means less unplanned downtime and more uptime. Also, it lets you plan maintenance better, shifting from reactive fixes again to proactive scheduling, saving both time and money. We like to speak of this in terms of maximizing the time between failures and minimizing the time of a maintenance event. And it doesn't stop there. By addressing small issues before they snowball, SoundGuard boosts overall efficiency and keeps production on track. It also improves safety by flagging risks early and helping you stay compliant with regulations. And finally, smarter maintenance cycles mean less wear and tear on your equipment, which extends your lifespan and increases your return on investment. So let's look at how SoundGuard has delivered some real world results. And this is just a really brief overview. I'll get into some details in a second. So in a mining operation, SoundGuard detected early wear in critical bearings and conveyor belts. This saved the company about $1.5 million annually by reducing downtime by about a quarter. At an oil and gas facility, it identified potential leaks by spotting subtle temperature and pressure changes. This prevented costly incidents and fines, by the way, saving millions, about $1 million a year, I think they said. In a manufacturing plant, SoundGuard caught inconsistencies in feed rates and mixer temperatures. And this helped stabilize product quality and cut waste by 20%, which is quite a bit. Saved them about 500 grand annually. And those are just some brief overviews. And so by implementing SoundGuard, it's a simple step-by-step process. First, we integrate it with your existing systems, whether it's SCADA or system monitoring and control, IoT or Internet of Things, which is connected devices for data collection, or DCS for localized process control. Once connected, we collect and calibrate data to ensure accurate predictions tailored to your operations. So during the initial analysis, we look and we want to work closely with you and set thresholds and customize parameters based on the specific needs of your process. And training your team is one of the key steps here. We focus on change management to help staff adopt predictive maintenance as part of their daily routine. And finally, SoundGuard continuously monitors and learns from your system, making adjustments over time to adapt to any changes in your production environment. So we have a dynamic model. The model is constantly updating and constantly improving based on feedback from the guys in the control room or the maintenance response to the alerts. With SoundGuard, you get a clear and measurable return on investment. First, you'll see a big drop in unplanned maintenance costs, and your assets will last longer. Keeping your equipment in top shape also means you can boost production output. On top of that, SoundGuard reduces safety risks and compliance issues, helps to avoid penalties and ensure that the operations stay safe and reliable. Finally, by improving efficiency, SoundGuard supports your environmental goals by cutting emissions and energy use, which is kind of a big deal. Now let's dive into a select group of detailed cases that show how SoundGuard delivered results in real-world scenarios. And these are interesting. You may recognize some, and some you may not. But we'll go through. It's going to be kind of fun. So here's what happened. SoundGuard detected a temperature increase in a rectifier for an electrolysis unit. It went from 17 degrees C to 23 degrees C. And while that's not a massive jump, it's worth noting that because the rectifier's voltage stayed steady and with normal operating limits. That's why the alert was sent. So just as a refresher, the rectifier works alongside a transformer to convert AC voltage from the grid into DC voltage for the electrolyzer cells. Catching small changes like this it can help us avoid a bigger problem down the line. So here's what the maintenance team found. The temperature increase can impact the theoretical voltage of the electrolytic reaction and might even cause the power supply to provide more than potentially than needed. So when the team inspected things on the site after the alert, they discovered an issue with the air conditioning system. That's it. They flagged it right away and they sent it over to maintenance for a fix. And the customer summed it up pretty well. They said that if the rectifier had failed, it would have meant no direct voltage for the electrolyzer. And that without that, the electrolyzer itself, could have gone down. And catching this issue early really made a difference. I apologize. Let me turn my phone off. The world of sales, which is good. In another one, SoundGuard picked up on a temperature fluctuation. So just in a medium pressure steam header, and even though the set point hadn't changed, there was a temperature fluctuation, and that's a sign something wasn't quite right. So it triggered an alert. The plant team looked into it and found that someone had run a tuning trial, but they didn't reset the values back to their original settings afterwards. So simple human error caused the fluctuation, and the customer called this detection critical. It highlighted an instability caused by human error, something they admitted would have been easy to miss without SoundGuard. In another case, SoundGuard flagged an uncontrolled temperature increase in an oil tank connected to an ethylene compressor. This triggered an automatic shutdown of the tank's heating system to prevent further issues. And thanks to the SoundGuard alert, the plant team discovered a worn mechanical seal, that's it, in the second stage of the ethylene compressor, and this caused more hot oil than normal to flow through, which ultimately triggered the heater to shut down, and the cost and downtime avoided. So a worn seal could have caused the ethylene compressor and probably the entire plant to shut down, depending on the conditions, unexpectedly. And after SoundGuard's alert, the pressures were closely monitored, and the seal was replaced during the next planned shutdown, saving, according to them, over $100,000. And the customer said that this was an exceptional alert, preventing unplanned compressor failure and a full plant shutdown. And that's kind of a big deal, I think. So emissions. SoundGuard detected a significant deviation in the pilot gas pressure at a flare tip, something we've seen thousands of times. We don't even give them a second look, right? But the control valve was opening to 30% instead of a set point of 20%, resulting in more gas being burned than necessary to keep the flare lit. The plant team wasn't aware of the issue until SoundGuard flagged it. And then they discovered that it was just a dirty controller, which caused it to send incorrect readings and then pump more gas. And after cleaning the device, the values returned to normal. Cost and downtime avoided. Well, the issue was tied to the flare system, where a malfunctioning device could have led to a significant environmental incident. Depending on how you're looking at it, it just would have burned a lot more gas than was necessary. Thanks to SoundGuard's alert, the faulty valve was discovered and fixed before it escalated, potentially saving the plant tens, according to them, to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm guessing that could have been in compliance. I don't know, but they were very happy with the feedback. The customer acknowledged that without SoundGuard's detection, they wouldn't have even noticed the malfunctioning valve. Catching it early not only prevented a costly environmental issue, but allowed for a pretty easy and timely fix. And another one, SoundGuard detected an issue with the condensate tank level. And understand what's happening here. So when we sit in the control room, we see the whoopee lights, but there are hundreds and even thousands of systems or products that feed every system that we're looking at. And that's what SoundGuard looks into. So in this case, the level controller was fluctuating and frequently opening to about 100% to maintain proper level. And this had been happening apparently since the fall of 2023. The temperature fluctuations prompted the production engineers to take a closer look, and an on-site inspection revealed a steam trap failure. That's it, which SoundGuard identified through process deviations in the condensate tank. So cost and downtime avoided. A steam trap failure can degrade the performance of steam systems, leading to wasted energy, potential safety risks. But thanks to SoundGuard's detection, the early detection, the issue was resolved before it impacted production or caused an unplanned downtime. The customer was really happy by this. They highlighted that a single failed steam trap can result in losses averaging $35,000 a year in some cases. SoundGuard's early detection, in this case, prevented both production losses and costly downtime. And this is going to be the last one. SoundGuard identified an issue with a heat exchanger. The inlet flow rate of caustic soda to the heat exchanger suddenly dropped, which was quickly followed by a drop in outlet temperature. An on-site inspection revealed a leak in the heat exchanger. The frequent leaks in heat exchangers handling corrosive materials or mediums can reduce heating and cooling efficiency and drive up energy costs. In this case, cost and downtime avoided. The potential cost of the failure was estimated between 10 and 50,000 euros, or close to $1, same. Though the exact figure is hard to pinpoint since a complete breakdown was avoided thanks to SoundGuard's early detection. And the customer, again, they're quite happy. The customer emphasized that SoundGuard's alert prevented a safety hazard caused by the heat exchanger leak, and they also appreciated that the alert came 2 hours before the distributed control system alarm, providing critical lead time to address the issue. The DCS alarm refers to the system that monitors and controls processes in industrial facilities, and its alarms are typically triggered when a parameter crosses a defined threshold. But SoundGuard's alert gave the team an earlier heads up because, again, we monitor things behind the whoopee lights. So that was a quick one. How many are we? We're 15 minutes. So we covered a lot of ground today, and now I'd love to open the floor for questions. Whether you'd like to discuss specific implementation details, ROI for your operations, industry-specific examples, just feel free to ask. Or if anyone is interested in learning more, my contact information is going to be here. So in terms of predictive analytics and industrial processes, what kind of questions do you think you would have? This is open for you guys. Everybody still here?
Uh, a couple of small questions, quick ones. I would assume. First off, how many data points can Samsung? Uh, how many data points can it address? For example, in a mining facility where there are several systems, many systems. I'll say many systems. You've got large conveyor belts. You've got just tons and tons of different systems that would benefit from this. How many data points would this system pick up, or would it be individually designed for this guys?
I think I heard, and you were breaking up a little bit. I think I heard you ask how many data points can the system handle? I would say that the more the merrier. We tend to like to have no fewer than 500 sensors and up into tens or even hundreds of thousands. The great thing about the AI algorithm is it's a powerhouse in dealing with an amount of data. So we like for the data, for good quality data, it needs to be in, the historian needs to be taking data readings. We like to see nothing less than or nothing greater than a minute intervals. And we love to have, I mean, an ideal situation, we like to have a year of data in the historian. But we've seen success with new users. And the cool thing about SamGuard is we actually can initiate operations without having a separate standalone historian. So SamGuard can operate with its own type of historian if one is not available. And we've seen an ROI within a month with a new user just moving in it. But obviously, the more data, the better. The more data, the cleaner it is. I've got some questions that were mailed in earlier. What type of data does SamGuard analyze and how is it collected? So SamGuard analyzes data like temperatures, pressures, flow rates, and equipment status. I'll collect different SCADA systems or other systems like IoT devices or historical records. Another question that was asked, how does machine learning play a role in refining predictions over time? Machine learning helps SoundGuard improve the accuracy by continuously analyzing the new data. And the great thing, I discussed this earlier, we have a dynamic modeling system, so it constantly adjusts the models to better detect patterns. And the way this works in the control room, so once we install or initiate the SoundGuard process, we work closely with the folks in the control room so that whenever there's an alert, we can either train them or we can handle the alerts or we can discuss it with them. But at the control panel, when an alert is received, the alert is answered in the software. So it's either disregarded or it's addressed or it's given a monetary value. Every time an alert is addressed at the control panel, this is a learning moment for the AI. And it refines the model every single time that there's an alert that's addressed. And so we have a dynamic modeling system that's constantly improving. Any other questions? So another question that I got here is, what is the biggest misconception about predictive analytics that you've encountered? Yeah, a lot of people think that it's super complicated to apply predictive analytics to their process systems. It can be, I suppose, with some companies. I mean, it depends on the way you go. But there's a lot of great companies out there that do a lot of good work. One of the major strengths of SandGuard is that we don't ask typically to install extra sensors, although we can provide them in some cases. We like a good set of data. And even if there's not a historian available, we can help with the historian as well. But it's not complicated. In reality, SoundGuard's designed for seamless integration and ease of use, so it provides pretty quick value after setup. I am going to, if y'all excuse me, I'm going to shut this down so I can see your smiling faces. I'm missing my feedback loop. All right,
Ernest, it looks like Ron Berry has his hand up.
I had a quick question for you.
there we go. Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, I was simply sorry, my camera's not working on mine.
It's
I
okay.
was simply curious as to is the assumption that data is good, or are you also doing some type of data cleansing?
That's a great question. So it's a great point too. We see a lot of alerts, and we can see a lot more alerts that are necessary. And part of that training cycle, and we're training the AI as well. So when we first initiate the system, the granularity of the alerts has to be adjusted. I mean, you think about it, you could get, if you got 500 alerts a day, there are no number of process engineers that want to try to dig through 500 different anomalies in the system. And so we can dial the granularity back, and we can also make it finer depending on the alerts that are received. And that has a lot to do with the connection between us and our process engineers and your process engineers. And so we look at the data as we're initially going. And initially the way this starts is we get a P&ID. And P&IDs, normally they'll come in a piece of paper if we're lucky, maybe a PDF, and we program the P&ID into the system. The system evaluates the P&ID and perceives it and it understands it. Then we began feeding in the sensor data. So we feed the sensor data in to allow it to create these normality clusters. And it's just like when we did data analysis in school when we were learning, we learned how to remove the noise. And there is a lot of noise depending on how close you're in. But the further you back out, it's like a squelch in the old radios, the clearer the message is. And so we do the fine tuning so that the value of the data that comes in is increased. And so you have actionable data that works better for you. And was that Ron? Was that you? Ron, Amelia, if you could help me, Ron is muted.
No.
No? Okay. Ron, are you there?
Yes, that was Ron. Ernest.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. All right. Any other questions? I've got a couple of others that have been written in if you guys want to hear. So I got one that says, how does predictive analytics differ from traditional? Let me see. How does predictive analytics differ from traditional monitoring systems like SCADA or DCS? Predictive analytics doesn't just monitor. I mean, you guys get this already, I'm sure, and report on current conditions. It uses AI and machine learning to analyze the data from the historian, analyze data trends and predicts potential failures based on events that occurred outside of the normality clusters. While SCADA and DCS focus on real-time control and supervision, predictive analytics adds a proactive layer to prevent downtime to optimize efficiency. One of the most frightening things to me when I first started as a plant manager for a small process company in Conroe, Texas, we had no maintenance budget. My first question to the owner was, "What's our maintenance budget?" He goes, "Oh, we fix stuff when it breaks." And I had already seen in our production line there were several choke points where we had one machine that was the only one that performed that function. I would have loved to have had some sort of notice because again, we were serving the oil field, and when an AFE has been assigned to a well in a drilling program, they won't wait for you, and they might put you in timeout if you miss too many events. So it's kind of a big deal, and the cost is more than what it typically appears whenever we're dealing with these kinds of things. What kind of ROI can companies expect from implementing predictive analytics? It varies depending on the application. Some companies have seen reductions in downtime by 20 to 50%, and maintenance savings of 10 to 30%. I mean, it's not a box of $100 bills every single time, but I'll tell you in muted terms, so I don't identify the industry, but one company that I was working with, their intended turnarounds. So whenever they plan to turn around or a shutdown, it costs them about $500,000 per day. When one hit them as an unplanned event, it was double. And then the problem then was they weren't sure of how long it would take them to repair, because as you guys know, our supply chain has been kind of up and down. And when things happen when you're not prepared for them, it can really, really be a nightmare. We have a really low cost pilot program, and we're motivated to help you guys out. And I am happy to talk with any of you and how to address your systems. Anybody else? All right. Well, I'm going to answer a couple more questions that are written in, and then if they're more, yeah.
Is there anything out there that definitively sets SamGuard apart from its competitors?
I would say one of the biggest things is that we don't have to, you're not required to install additional hardware to use us. We're integrating with existing data collection systems. That's probably one of the biggest. And then we have patented processes. So our dynamically updating modeling system, the way that happens, it's protected by patents, and that makes us different from our competitors. And look, let me be clear about this. Our competitors, they're great. The folks who have spent time and effort to build systems to do this, they're really good. And I would say we're probably all pretty comparable. One of the things that we are flexible on is where your data is stored. Some companies are very sensitive to the data being outside of their control, so their immediate control. Some of the companies like the convenience of cloud-based data systems. In other times, we actually have the data held in our third-party secure servers. But we're not the only ones who do that. Others do that as well. Cost is probably the biggest thing in an equal playing field. Again, our competitors are really good at what they do, and so are we. We have patented differentiations in the way our system dynamically handles the upgrade or the evolving model. But then our price point is much better, almost to a detriment. I think I've been in some markets where our price was almost out of the norm, and it causes you to raise an eyebrow. We've had intense discussions on increasing prices, but we also want to make this available to as many people as possible. We're motivated to have a really good reputation for performing for our clients.
Thank you.
Sure. So Ron, I heard from you. Gaines, I heard from you. Is it Fuquin? Dang Fuquin? How's that? Definitely muted. Okay. All right. I think I'll do one more question that I've got on my email. Oh yeah, we kind of just talked about that. I think someone asked this, but I'll answer it again anyway. How does the system differentiate between critical issues and less urgent ones to prevent alert fatigue? And again, SoundGuard prioritizes the alerts based on severity. And we want to ensure that the only critical issues are flagged more promptly, while the less urgent deviations are monitored without overwhelming the operators. And we train ourselves and we train the system by early cooperation between our team and your team. So we identify once the alerts are coming. Again, every time an alert is put to bed on the control panel, information is given to the system, and the system gets smarter every time an alert is passed back and forth. And I want to look and see if there's any more interesting questions, and probably give you guys one more shot and wrap it up. Let's see. Oh, yeah. This depends. This is different from industry to industry. How can predictive analytics help with regulatory compliance or safety audits? In the one situation that I showed you guys where the flare stack was, so you guys have seen these igniters. They sit there burning a nice blue flame all the time. And when there's gas coming through the flare, that igniter sets the gas off. Um, in the old days, it's not really a big deal for it to be burning that much more gas, but we're so closely eyeballing everything these days that 30% deviation, or was it 20 to 30% deviation in gas used to keep the igniter burning was a big deal for somebody. Um, I've heard I've heard of the old timers when I worked on the rigs soaking a t-shirt in diesel or gas and chucking it up to the flare stack. I don't believe it, but I guess I don't know. But the igniters are kind of important, but we want them to run properly as well, like everything else. A couple more. Biggest misconception. We did that one. Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to learn here. And it's not.
Here,
It's not. Yes, sir.
Jace has his hand up.
And sure,
Hi there.
Jason.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm our marketing manager over here at Miller Mechanical Specialties, and one of the biggest questions, or I guess for you, I have is just in your experience with customers, in your conversations and explaining this technology to them, can you recall or tell me like the top 3 questions you get from customers off the top of your head? Just for my own knowledge, because I'm thinking of ways to basically market this product from our end, and I want to be able to provide answers to customers up front. And so I'm curious to see what you have to say there.
Sure. Probably the top 3 probably sit around value, implementation, and ease of use. I mean, everybody wants to know, you want my dollars. What do I get? What do I get out of this? So how will the software benefit my business? I would say predictive analytics. To respond to that, I would say predictive analytics helps you prevent costly and unplanned downtime, reduce maintenance costs, and increase operational efficiency. SoundGuard's real-time alerts help you address issues before they escalate, saving time and money. Plus, it enhances safety and extends equipment lifespan, delivering a clear ROI. So, for instance, in that one industry that I was just talking about, 500 grand a day is what they expect when they do a turnaround, and they're expecting maybe a week at the most. And those are anticipated turnarounds or shutdowns. If the shutdown is not planned, it jumps up to $1 million because they still have to deliver product. They're still on the stick for delivering product, because if they don't, they lose reputation. And you can't put a value to reputation because you can never buy it back. You have to build trust over years sometimes when you fail to deliver. So they'll go long on their pocketbooks to maintain their reputation while they're trying to fix an unexpected downtime. So that's, it will benefit the business in a big way. The second question would be, how does it integrate with their existing systems? SamGuard, a strength of SamGuard is it seamlessly connects to the systems that are already in use, like SCADA, Internet of Things sensors, or DCS. And it gathers data from these sources, analyzes it using the AI machine learning, and provides actionable insights. And integration process is straightforward. And like I said, our team works closely with their team to make sure that's a very smooth setup and a smooth entry into this. So maybe the first year we watch them a lot, and maybe the second year the learning curve isn't so steep and they don't need us as much, but we're always available. And then third is, you're selling me this, you want my money. Do I have to hire new people as well? I mean, how easy is this for my team to use? And again, SamGuard is designed with simplicity in mind. It's intuitive dashboard and real-time alerts. It looks like a Google email interface, really. You get little alerts like emails, and then once you open them, there's another drop-down list, and you can advise the system how to close out the alert. So SoundGuard is designed with the simplicity in mind. It's got the intuitive dashboards, real-time alerts, makes it easy for the guys in the operating room and the engineers to understand and act on the information provided. So, and then we offer training and ongoing support. We like to partner with our clients. We want them to be successful because we want our reputation to be good as well. So that the top 3 have got to be cost, or how will this benefit my system? How do we integrate it with our current systems, and how easy for my team to use? Some people are going to ask you, like some people are going to be interested in this because it's a great way to save them from headaches, but they don't already use, they don't already have a historian, and they'll ask us to advise them on a historian to use. But the cool thing about SamGuard is it can it can operate independently with its own historian collecting data. And so we can still, as long as they are SCADA, as long as there are sensors and SCADA throughout the plant, or DCS for us to gather information from, we can do this.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And feel free to send me emails
We have
afterwards.
another question, Ernest, in the chat.
Okay. And one second. I get to my screen. There we go. Okay. The question is, what is SamGuard USP, which is completely different compared to other competitor brands? And if I'm understanding that, and correct me if I'm not. So what is SamGuard USP and how does it compare to other brands? So our unique selling proposition, I'm hoping that's what you're referring to, lies in its exceptional combination of real-time predictive analytics and user-centric design. So this sets us apart from competitors. And this is what makes us stand out. So we have proven reliability in real-world applications. Some competitors rely heavily on theoretical models, but SamGuard has been extensively validated in diverse industries, like a lot of different industries. So pretty much anywhere there's a process, there are places for us to improve, like oil and gas, manufacturing, mining. It consistently delivers actionable insights that prevent failures, save costs, and improve efficiency. So, and fast and seamless integration. SamGuard integrates smoothly with existing systems, again, SCADA, IoT, DCS, without requiring a complete overhaul of your infrastructure. This minimizes disruption and gets results faster compared to competitors that demand complex installations. AI-powered anomaly detection with contextual alerts. While other systems often bombard users with irrelevant or generic alerts, like we discussed, there's just a lot of data, a lot of noise. SamGuard's AI not only detects anomalies, but also prioritizes based on impact and urgency. And when you close out an alert, you'll assign an urgency to it. So again, our system, we have a dynamically evolving model, which gets better over time. This helps operators focus on what matters most, reducing alert fatigue. Like when we get too many emails, we don't even look at them anymore. Ease of use and team adoption. So SamGuard's intuitive dashboards, again, and actionable insights make it easier for teams to adopt and use effectively. Competitors often require significant training. SamGuard focuses on being user-friendly from the start. And again, we are with you during these phases to help train and evolve. Continuous learning and customization. SamGuard adapts to specific operations. It understands the P&ID once it's programmed by our process engineers into the system. Refining its predictions as it learns from your system and from the operators. This personalized approach ensures the insights remain relevant and valuable over time. So we talk a lot about Industry 4.0 with the organic, I love this phrase, with the organic oversight. Our system is corrected and taught continuously by the response from the operators. There's always organic oversight, and there's always some input from the operators who know the system better than anybody. And then we just got great ROI, and we focus on safety and sustainability. So by reducing downtime and maintenance costs, SamGuard supports compliance, improves safety, and helps meet sustainability goals. And hope I didn't say too much, but I mean, again, our competitors are all good at what they do. Some of us, we just do things differently in other ways. And our team worked very hard to make this easy to use, easy to implement, and valuable almost immediately. Let's see. I don't see any more chats. All right. We got plenty of time, guys. We got 19 whole minutes. I got a couple more questions I can read if you want. Anybody else have any questions? Is it going to snow in Houston?
Yes, one.
There we go. Is it in the chat? Oh, I think I see. I saw a hand raised for a moment. Okay, there we go. I see somebody typing. Okay, thank you. All right. No worries.
Juan, if you want to ask a question. So
Okay, Ron's typing. API support. I'm gonna look because I want to respond properly. I
We
don't know
do.
everything. I
Yeah,
know.
Stanford does have current API tunnels into some of the most popular historians. However, the ones that we don't, we have other means of getting the data out.
All right. And so it does. So awesome. Thank you, Ron. If your team uses a centralized dashboard for monitoring multiple systems, the API can pull SamGuard's predictive analytics directly into that dashboard. And by the same token, you can automate maintenance requests in your CMMS by triggering work orders based on SamGuard's alerts. We're not to the point where we're going to tell you precisely which screws to turn. We would love to be one of these days. So Ron wrote, I wasn't clear on the data cleansing as it's supported. So yes, data cleansing is supported as part of SamGuard's integration and calibration process. And here's how it works, if you want to get into it. So pre-integration data review. During setup, SamGuard analyzes incoming data for quality issues, such as inconsistencies. Still typing, wait, I'm not getting into that. So when we did engineering, okay, when we did engineering orientation, or excuse me, experimental orientation in school, we had to learn how to toss data, and we had to learn how to qualify data. And so we built a lot of this knowledge and a lot of this into our system, so that the process is automated and it minimizes the need for human intervention. So it detects things like missing or incomplete data points, sensor noise, false readings, irregular timestamps, and this is an automated process that minimizes manual intervention. Okay. Ron is typing. And I'm swinging my head widely because I've got monitors all over my all over my office. I like to see a lot of stuff at one time. Okay. What do you mean exactly? Are you saying, does it weigh current data more heavily than historical data? Yeah. So SamGuard incorporates real-time continuously to update the data. Yes. So SamGuard incorporates real-time continuously updated data. It's important because this ensures that predictions and alerts remain relevant to your current operational state. So like it has to, because we know that Boyle's law, PV equals nRT works in the summer, PV equals nRT works in the winter, and the temperature changes. And so the data is going to be different from one part of the year to another part of the year. It's going to be different from one product to another product. And so the real-time data is important. So This ensures that the predictions and alerts are remained to the current operational state, which is current product mix, current temperatures, current situations. The combination of historical data and live data, it assures the accuracy and reliability. The mic, mine's not. Oh, come on. Wait, what? Oh.
No, yours.
All right. Okay. Ron, you can try again. Okay. And again, some of the key takeaways here are they're just interesting things to consider. We're not looking for something that's wrong. We're looking for something that's anomalous to the proper state of things. When SAMGuard analyzes the historian's data, we assume that unless specifically notified that the data is a result of normal working conditions, the normality clusters, and we can't predict individual failures based on data we don't know, but we do know what works properly. So when the software notices something that's not within normal operations, so not within the normality clusters, that's when it triggers an alert. And that combined with the organic oversight, the person in the operating room or our process engineers working with you guys, we look at those alerts and we assign them a condition that tells the AI what kind of weight to give it, and it allows it again to continuously and dynamically improve over time. And so current data is important, historical data is important, but the current data obviously tells what's happening in the moment. Today it's 60 degrees outside. It makes a difference in our gases and in our plants. Don't see any hands raised. Gonna go back to my emails. What? Did I miss something? All right. What kind of support is available after implementation, such as updates or troubleshooting? We know that every plant is not the same forever. And with an engineer, if you give an engineer enough budget and enough time, they'll improve everything. So we offer ongoing support, including software updates, troubleshooting, system adjustments. When you do a revision release to your P&ID, we should be one of the recipients of that release so that we can update the P&ID and the software learns what you guys have done to adjust your systems. All right. A lot of these questions have been asked already. Okay. I think we probably talked about this. What level of training is required by staff to use and understand predictive analytics effectively? We talked about that already. Just it's basic training, and we're going to partner with you guys and work with you. And over time, you probably won't need us as much, but we'll always be available whenever you need us in a pinch. All right. Well, I had fun. Anybody have any final questions? I'm happy to answer. Okay. Thank you all very much for attending today. If you have any questions or want to talk about this anymore in the future, my contact information should be available to you. And I'll return your emails. I'll return your calls. I will put my phone number in the chat so that you can call me if you need to. And should be somewhere in here anyway. But thank you guys for attending. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your interaction. Have a great day. Thank you all very much. Hi, Miriam. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Franklin, thank you for stopping in. Gaines, Amelia, Joe, thank you again for the questions. Thank you very much. Have a great day.